The earth is my home. I promise to keep it healthy and beautiful. I will love the land, the air, the water, and all living creatures. I will be a defender of my planet, united with friends. I will save the...
My name is Commissioner Frank Avila. I'm a commissioner at the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. And the name of our show today is Bill Morton, candidate for the 49th Ward Democratic Committeeman. Thank you for being on our show, guys.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Commissioner.
And thank you, Trudy Leong, for being on the show. And Trudy is the campaign manager for Bill Morton. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
thank you, Commissioner Avila, for having us.
And thank you, Bill Morton. Bill Morton is the candidate for the 49th Ward, and thank you for being on my show.
Thank you, Commissioner Avila.
And our
It's our
next
pleasure.
ward committeeman for the
Thank you.
49th Ward. You know, the song that I played, Kids for Saving the Planet, I think that's what Bill Morton is going to do. Not the planet, but the 49th Ward.
Starting with the 49th Ward.
Starting for the 49th Ward. Now, Bill, please tell us what's in your background qualifies you to serve as the 49th Ward Democratic Committeeman.
Well, as an employee of the Cook County Clerk David Orr's office, Department of Elections, I gained experience and knowledge concerning the nuts and bolts of the electoral process. I fully understand the process. I was a 2019 candidate for 49th Ward Alderman, so I've been through this. I became a writing candidate. I understand that part of the process as well. I'm a 17-year Rogers Park resident. I'm a registered Democrat. I'm a Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce president and Leone Beach Park Advisory Council president. Formerly, Willie B. White Park Advisory Council president in the north of Howard area of Rogers Park. So I've done fundraising. I've headed up organizations for 10 plus years at the Chamber of Commerce, and I understand what it means to run an organization, run an office, and make things really happen.
And I've been an election judge ever since 2012, and I see a lot of things that could go wrong and different issues that could be addressed. So I tell Bill all about that. I always have a good discussion with Bill after every election, and he learns a lot from me, from my experience as an election judge.
And an important aspect of this is when you get me, you get Trudy as well. You get Trudy too.
2 for 1.
Well, that's good. It looks like you're concerned about the 49th Ward community. You're concerned about the kids, businesses, schools, everything that is happening in the 49th Ward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I was president of the Willie White Park Advisory Council,
Yeah.
we raised funding. The playground was dangerous and it was getting old, and we raised funding along with the Baby Wranglers group, young moms and parents, and as well as the Chicago Plays program with the Chicago Park District. And we garnered enough votes to get a new playground in the north of Howard area at Howard and Ashland at the
Yeah.
Willie White Park for a totally new playground which we needed.
Well, that's excellent. You know, Bill, why are you running for an unpaid position? I mean, it's a very important position because a committeeman sets the policies about the Democratic Party. But why are you running? It's unpaid.
Well, I've have a long history of being unpaid in volunteer positions. I was elected and reelected again as president of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce. It's an unpaid position. The Leone Beach Park Advisory Council, that's an unpaid position for fundraising and making park programs and public safety in the parks, as well as after-school programs and things like that. I committed to making life better for the people in the 49th Ward. I want to stop the unethical purge of qualified voters. I want to ensure fair and honest, welcoming and inclusive elections. I want to increase the percentage of 49th Ward registered voters. I want to bring it up by 20%. I think we can do it. I want to protect the right to vote. Anybody who has the right to vote, they should be able to vote unrestricted. I want to protect against election fraud, and I want to protect against voting machine hackers. These are very important to me. I was an election judge as well last time around during the runoff, and I understand the importance of these issues.
That's very good, interesting. Trudy, Bill cares about the community.
Yes, well, I've been volunteering and been active in school and helping students and helping the community before I started working with Bill. But once I started working with Bill 2.5 years ago, I saw the important work that he is doing, and then I see so many opportunities for me to also join Bill in helping the community and bringing more opportunity to others, and I just love that work. I don't get paid either, but it's very important. Helping people goes beyond getting paid, but of course getting paid is good.
Yeah. You know, it appears, Bill, that you want to provide a service to the community.
Well,
not a service to yourself, but a service to the community, which is very important because nowadays a lot of people want to provide a service to themselves, but in hearing your discussion, I heard your speech. That's why I endorse you. Commissioner Frank Avila endorses Bill Morton to be elected for the 49th Ward Democratic Committeeman.
I'm honored, I'm privileged.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner
And
Avila.
because Bill is concerned about the community. He's concerned about the schools, about the businesses, about the seniors, about any social activity in that ward. And that ward needs help.
It certainly does. And I've always considered myself a community activist and a public servant
Yes.
rather than a politician.
Yes.
I've worked at restaurants where I'm helping the restaurants with their food service inspection, scrubbing
Yes.
the floor with
Yeah.
a Brillo.
Yeah.
I've helped people at the internet cafe where I worked. I speak with the people.
Yes.
I am the people.
Yes.
I use public transportation. I'm a renter, not an owner.
Yeah.
And I really relate with the people in the 49th Ward and of Rogers Park in West Ridge.
Well, that's good because you're not contributing to the CO2, the
That's
climate
right.
change. Because if you don't own a vehicle, you're helping the climate change.
Right.
I feel. Now, Bill, what are the duties of a Democratic Ward Committeeman? Because people know aldermen, state representatives, but Democratic Ward Committeeman. What is the duty?
A lot of people are confused about this one. They know about the aldermen and the mayors, but they're not so certain about the committeemen. It'd be my job to vote to appoint qualified people to fill the unexpired terms, to appoint local election judges, to advance the interests of Democratic Party voters, and to increase the voter turnout. I will be the head of the 49th Ward Democratic Party. We'd be operating out of the office there by Ravenswood, Rogers Park Metro Station over there. And I really am looking forward to building the Democratic Party, to being more inclusive and welcoming is really the key, and inviting the young Democrats, the middle-aged voters, and also the seniors to come on board and to really breathe a breath of fresh air and life into the party, the local party. And that'll be my job.
Yeah, you mentioned it is a very important position. The 49th Democratic Ward Committeeman that Bill Morton is going to win March 17. He's going to be the winner. And because people, as you mentioned, they set the policy for the Democratic Party. They select qualified candidates
Yes.
to run. That's a key, to select qualified candidates that will serve the people.
Yes.
I think that's the key, what you're saying about
It is.
Democratic Ward Committeeman there.
It's a very important job.
Oh, yes. Now, how would you increase the numbers of voters in the 49th Ward?
My objective would be to ensure that the organization is, of course, inclusive and completely diverse. We would solicit the formal participation of the people from all segments of the ward. We would make certain that our leadership includes the young Democrats, the middle-aged, and the seniors. And we would host voter education events and weekly ward nights. We would have email newsletters. We would send out texts, and we would really utilize the office. You know, one of the things about our 49th Ward Democratic office is when you pass by it, when you're walking by it, it doesn't matter what time of year or anything, most of the time, because I walk by it practically every day, it's closed.
Yeah.
It's closed. And recently, a lot of the regular meetings, you know, they get rescheduled or pushed aside. I'm going to dedicate my time to being the best 49th Ward committeeman. And I think that's really key. Instead of having you know, a wide stroke of everything, I want to take the time and do the job right.
And you know, the 49th Ward, it has every ethnic group that you can imagine is in the 49th Ward.
Rogers Park is the most diverse
Yes.
neighborhood in the entire city of Chicago. We welcome our diversity. And we have all languages, all dialects of languages, all nationalities,
Yes.
and on every single block.
Yes.
You can walk in, you don't know what kind of food you're going to smell or what kind of language you're going to hear. And I really enjoy that about Rogers Park.
Trudy, it is a very diverse ward,
Yes,
isn't it?
it is. I learned that when walking the streets with Bill on our business well-being checks, and I learned about so many different ethnicities, the different foods. I've tried for the first time ever Ethiopian food when I was working with Bill. After all this time, I never even knew that Ethiopian food could taste so wonderful.
Yes, and well, I'm glad
wonderful people.
that Bill Morton is running and going to win the ward committeeman for the 49th Ward because they need you. You care about the people, Bill.
I've been there for 17 years. I've been voting Democratic, and I know the issues because I've been through the issues.
Yes.
I'm the guy who, when it's winter time and the snow is melting, I'm the guy who knows where the puddles in the sidewalk are. And I'm the guy who had the holes in his shoes when he first moved into the most affordable community, and I had to walk around those. I know the intricate details of our community, and I think that's really key.
Now, Bill, please describe the voters' purge and what you want to do to prevent voter purge.
Well, the voter purges are a form of voter suppression. This is achieved through a series of legal and illegal means. The nefarious actor's goal is to intimidate eligible voters, remove them from the rolls, and keep them from exercising their right to vote. I would diligently shed light on these schemes. I would enlist the support of the state, city, and county Board of Elections, Illinois Attorney General, and the federal government. We would defend to the fullest people's right to cast their vote.
When I was an election judge, some people thought that they were already registered, but they come in and they're not registered. They were probably victims of a voter purge. So then we re-register them, but it takes so long. And that's very discouraging. They'll have to spend an extra 15 minutes at least in the polls. And then if we have a line, then it's very hard for people to just come in and vote. So those are, a lot of them are victims of voter purges.
And this is one of the tactics that they use so they won't vote for a bill.
That's right.
See? And so we have to eliminate because we have qualified voters. And they're using this type of tactics to eliminate the vote. I mean, this is America.
They want to eliminate the vote. I am going to eliminate the corruption and waste.
Yes.
And imagine if those voters that were purged, if they mailed in their ballot, they wouldn't even know that their vote didn't count.
Oh, that's true. I never thought of that. Yeah. Now, Bill, what is electronic voting machine hacking, and how do you plan to address it?
Well, electronic voting machine hacking, has been very prevalent in the past. Now there are measures with the new machines where the electronic systems have a backup paper system.
Oh.
In the past, I've always voted on election day, except for one time when I voted early at Potawatomi Park. But I like to vote on a paper ballot
Yes.
because paper is not hackable. And so I encourage everybody to vote on election day on a paper ballot. But the new system that they have coming in, the recent system, has a backup paper. When I worked at the Cook County Department of Elections, I was an election clerk under David Orr.
Yeah.
And it was a great experience. It really taught me the nuts and bolts of the system.
Yeah.
And I remember we were sitting table to table, and I had the little piece of paper, and I said this person's name. They had to say this person's name, check. They said this person's name. I said this person's name, check. And then there were people watching us. So, and at the end of the night, it was all at 69 West. It was all locked up at the end of the night. I think that we need to ensure that our votes are safe.
No, that's good. You know, we live in America, and we should go out and vote for the candidate that best serves our interests. You know, not
Yes.
their interests.
That's right.
And that's what Bill is going to do. He's going to, once he's elected, he's going to serve the community's interests,
Yes.
which is the key. And that's what we need. As you mentioned, you're not a politician there.
Right.
You just want to get elected and serve the people.
I'm a community servant.
Community servant,
And
yes.
I'm proud to be one.
Yes. You know, Bill, I have at the IVI IPO meeting, a 49 Ward Democratic Party member observed that you had not attended every Democratic Party meeting. How can you do a good job as 49 Ward Democratic Committeeman despite that?
To finance our ward organization, we will host fundraisers.
Yes?
And as president of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce, I'm active in our community. I know our community, not only our businesses because of the Chamber of Commerce, but our residents. I represent, as president of the chamber, the residents, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and the institutions of Rogers Park community. That includes schools, churches, and everything else. So I have the ear of the people, and I've got my boots on the ground, and I've been walking the streets of Rogers Park for 17 years, talking to everybody. I spend more time talking directly to voters than any current or previous 49th Ward committeeman. I'm in the neighborhood all the time. I know the problems and I have the solutions.
You know, that's key because you're the president of the Chamber of Commerce,
Yes.
and presently you're the chairman,
Yes.
which involves everyone. As you mentioned, the churches, the nonprofit groups, the businesses, because explain what a chamber is all about. A chamber, explain the role,
Well,
the mission of a chamber.
Right. It's our goal to stimulate an orderly economic local economy, to bring up our neighborhood in a very responsible way, to promote responsible businesses in our community, and foremost to promote and keep open our small mom and pop shops, which are the lifeblood
Yes.
of our local economy.
That's the key. Keep open
Yes.
the mom and pop shop because this is their job. They're just maybe two people. The family runs the business, and this is how they buy a living for themselves. Right, Trudy?
Yes, 75% of businesses in the U.S. are small businesses.
75%?
And yes, and those are the businesses that Bill has always wanted to protect. He takes me around. I walk with him to all around Rogers Park. I don't know the geography, and he's so upset that I still don't know the geography as well as he does. But I know that the people are in their hearts and minds are with Bill because they are so happy to see him. The mom and pop shops, he comes in and their face lights up and they'll tell Bill whatever's wrong and he'll
They
address
will.
it or he'll let me address it.
And the thing about shopping small,
Yes.
we host Shop Small Saturday once a year, but we do it year round as well. And when you spend $1 at a small local shop, it recirculates 7 times. They hire
7 times?
7 times. They hire local residents. They serve local residents, and it brings in a small local economy.
Yeah, and not only that, you work with the churches
Yes.
too,
Mhm.
which is having a community. Churches are very important also.
And if anybody ever
every
has an
different
issue,
religions, right?
right?
Yeah.
At all religions,
Yeah.
the diversity of everybody
Yeah.
in all different ways. And if anybody ever has an issue, they know my number and they know how to find me.
Yes.
Or I'll visit them because we do the business well-being checks all the time, just popping in and doing it's like a survey.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Are you having any financial issues, any community issues, any number of different kinds of issues? We'll either help them on the spot or as soon as we can, or refer them to someone who is best to help them.
And remember, Bill Morton is your next 49th Ward Democratic Committeeman because he cares about you in the 49th Ward. So please go out and give Bill Morton a vote. And what's your number? What's your punch number?
My punch number is
252.
252. Remember that.
Punch 252.
Punch 252. That
Yes.
fine. And mine is
1, 2, 3.
Easy as 1, 2, 3.
Very good. So I'm glad that you're running because when I met you, Bill, I knew that you'll be the #1 ward committeeman here in the city of Chicago to help the community.
Yes, it'll be my responsibility.
Yes, that's good. Now, I'm going to read. Why are you the best candidate for the 49th Ward Democratic Committeeman?
I'm committed to the people first. I'm not part of the corrupt Chicago or the Madigan mob. I am free to eliminate electoral corruption and waste. I am the instrument of the destruction of systematic corruption and waste. And I'll do what's best for all of the voters. With me as committeeman, people can rest assured that bad politicians will have limited influence in our government decision-making process.
Interesting. Now, there mentioned that, as you mentioned before, when you're walking by now for the Democratic Party, their office is closed.
Yes.
And now, how can you keep up and pay the rent for a Democratic office? Because you mentioned that you'd be open to the people.
Right. Well, we're going to host quarterly fundraisers, much like what we do with the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce. I have experience in this. I've done fundraising with the park advisory councils for many projects, including after-school programs and park program scholarships for families who have children who can't afford them. So I'm going to make sure that we will not solicit standalone donations from contractors, politicians, or individuals who are expecting something in return. I will personally make up any shortfalls in the budget. We will do fundraising, and currently, the rent on the office is $1,500 a month, and currently, the 49th Ward Democratic Party is not being funded by the national, the state, or the citywide party. I think that's wrong. I think we need to look into that, and I think I need to have a discussion with the current treasurer to know the ins and outs of how to, and I want to do a forensic audit independently, and I want to see what's going on with that and make it far more relevant and efficient. 49th Ward Democratic Party.
Well, that's good because, in the 49th Ward, people are having a hard time there, right?
Yes.
And you could, by what you want to do with the businesses, you could increase jobs there.
Yes.
Your mom and pop could increase their business. They may be able to afford to hire someone.
I've been doing work for 17 years, and as an elected official, as your new 49th Ward committeeman, it will give me the opportunity to further helping the 49th Ward Rogers Park in West Ridge. It'll give me the power to help people, and that's what I'm in this for. I've always been about that. I'm about the people.
And Trudy, is that why you're the campaign manager? Because you saw what Bill stands for?
Yes, I was so amazed. I was so happy to come every day to help Bill. I have to commute an hour and a half to come to Rogers Park to volunteer at the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce, and I just loved it. Once I arrived, I smelled the lake air, and I know that it's going to be a wonderful day of helping people and learning.
And no day is ever the same.
Right.
We never ever know what's gonna come our way. We get a phone call, and all of a sudden we're helping somebody by the lake, or we're helping somebody in a business, or we're attending a CAPS meeting at St. Jerome's Church, or we're north of Howard area at a Just Harvest, which feeds the good people, or we're doing videos on the red line stations. You know, Loyola, Jarvis,
sure.
Morse, and Howard. We're all over the community, and not only that, but citywide as well.
Now, what's the boundaries of the 49th Ward?
The easternmost boundary is Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan? And they have a lot of trouble now on the lake. A lot of
certainly are
erosion.
having-
Oh, my God.
We certainly are having
I mean,
problems.
the paper, the erosion.
We've got flooding out of garages.
Yes.
It's coming in.
Yeah.
Because Ridge is the western perimeter of the Rogers Park area.
yeah.
And that's a natural ridge.
Yeah.
That's where the water used to come up to with the glaciers.
yeah.
So think about that when you're thinking about the flooding,
Yeah.
all the way to Ridge.
Yes.
We're worried about Sheridan Road now, but Ridge is quite a ways away. But Rogers Park goes over to Devon as the southern border,
Yes.
and then Ridge as its western border, and then Howard
Yeah.
on his northern border, and then there's a little north of Howard area, which is north of the Howard Red Line.
Interesting.
But the 49th Ward cuts a little bit of Rogers Park out because of the gerrymandering and the census information, the U.S. Census information every 10 years. And then it goes out to Western Avenue, which is in the Westridge neighborhood, and it kind of cuts and it kind of goes around.